Welcome back to Eon Broadway. Right now we're inside the Gershwin Theater where the 1927 classic Showboat will be docking this fall. Showboat is part of a continuing trend that began last season here on the Great White Way when there were no fewer than 7 musical revivals. There had been none the previous year. With the escalating cost of mounting a production, producers are less likely to take a risk on new material. The philosophy behind revivals being, if it worked back then, it'll work again.
There are more revivals than we've ever had before, simply because they're known quantities. And somebody who's going to put money in a show is more likely to put it into something that's been known to be a hit before, and conceivably will strike the same note again.
Decade after decade, the plays of legendary collaborators Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein have proven to be some of the most successful revivals on Broadway. And the latest production of Carousel is no exception.
I think it's a valid piece of work no matter when it's performed, but we've never before had the opportunity to have people take this kind of fresh look at it and design it differently and specifically and cast it differently.
Turn-of-the-century New England is the setting for a love that turns violent between Billy Bigelow and Julie Jordan. The piece confronts issues of spousal abuse, love, and redemption.
This is the definition of a classic. The themes it talks about are universal. I mean, it's about love. It's about that love hurts. Love is joyful. It hurts. It's confusing. It's about violence. It's about redemption.
It's a hard show. I mean, there are really hard issues in it. And, you know, this Billy Bigelow, he has to account for what he did, you know. He made a lot of mistakes in his life, and it's about him going back and facing them, you know, and that's not a dated issue.
Despite the play's legendary status, some cast members were at first reluctant to join the production.
I knew the music was beautiful, but I was always sort of annoyed by the story. And then when I got the audition, and they sent me the script, and years later I sat down and actually read it, I realized what a beautifully written, powerful script it was.
I'd seen it once at my dinner theater back in Fresno, California. I'd seen it once there, and I really enjoyed it, but it was Rodgers and Hammerstein, and there certainly wasn't, much opportunity for a black female to be in Rodgers and Hammerstein at that time, and so I just thought, well, it's nice, but it's nothing that I'll ever be able to do.
Even after months and months of performances, great reviews, and a Tony Award, stage fright is still a problem.
For me, it gets worse. And I think it's because if you do, well, especially if you get a lot of accolades, and, we got great reviews, and then to get the awards and stuff like that, the fright comes in having to top yourself night after night, saying, well, if I did this well and I got this award because of this, the next night these people are going to say, all right, prove it to me. Prove to me why you deserve that Tony Award.
When the children are asleep and lights are low, and behold, if I still love you, I love you today.
These days, anyway, I'm trying more and more to come on stage with maybe if it's just one new thing that I do, that I take some of the group by surprise, and many times I do, and they start to laugh, and so this makes for a spontaneity.
Lots of ships have kept their anchor just because the captain's anchor, for a compass they can only get in port.
It is intelligent, but at the same time, it is incredibly emotional, and it touches us in here. Does that sound corny?
In this play, the moments that are the most stunning, I believe, are the moments where you could hear a pin drop, and you can't find that anywhere but in live theater.
She might be so bad that with ribbons in her hair.
It's quite a journey to go through eight times a week, I mean, it's 3 hours of, this sort of wide-eyed, to births and deaths and tragedy and then redemption, and but it is, I love it. I wouldn't give it up for anything.